Alrighty. Welcome back, everyone. Hang on, I gotta mute that for a moment. Welcome back, everybody, to some more Death Stranding. As we edge ever so closer to getting all of the Steam achievements. So, I came across some information while I was starting up the stream here. Unfortunately, what do we have here? The chiral artist's mother. What do you think of the chiral boots? Yeah, I learned something while I was booting up the game, or the stream rather. The title says that there's only 2 prepper areas left that I need to connect. I was incorrect.
Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. All clear.
I believe we were heading south, right? What all do I have with me? Bunch of stuff for cosplayer, spiritualist. That's going to the Timefall Farmer. Okay. We can go handle that.
Safe travels. Weapons restrictions lifted. Safe travels.
Someone's happy.
Cargo is apparently supposed to spawn closer to where they at, which I hypothesized. And then the internet said that it did. And our guy is over that direction. I don't know. Should I just go and take a peek? Is this a poor decision? How do I plan on getting stuff to him in the first place? There's no way there's more BTs over here, right? That's lunacy.
I wonder if anyone's watching.
Why, though, Do they live... Where were they? Oh! Why down there? This is kind of dangerous territory. You mean obstacles? They're rocks. They're just rocks. How do you want me to get down there? What, with a ladder? Because I don't think I brought any. I don't think I brought any of those. What the hell is that? What is that? What is that thing? Guys, I don't know what that is. I don't think I have a ladder. Oh. Why can't I use the anchor? It'd be so easy. F. We're gonna have to come back with a ladder. I don't want to deal with him right now. I'll tell you what I'm not finding, though. I'm not finding any cargo for him. And I know you can get some, because I had some before. I'm confident that I did.
What can't you do?
I think we're going to go turn in some items. Maybe head to the weather station. And grab the cargo there. Or grab a ladder there and drop off the cargo. And I think we can just cut through here. Yeah, this is my path. And in fact, this is my stuff.
Stretch my legs.
Can't believe someone upgraded that to level 2.
Verifying ID. Clear.
That's
Weapons
crazy.
detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. Cargo verified. Thank you.
Here, I've got plenty of goods for you.
Thank you. Here, I got you something. Consider it an expression of my gratitude.
Oh! That is really good, actually. Thanks. I'm thinking. Hang on. I want to do this the other way around. Because I saw one thing that said that oh, hang on, I actually want to. I need a thermal pad. I would like a ladder. Give me one of those. Buddy bot. They said he can't traverse difficult terrain, I'm afraid. A thermal pad. I also don't need any of this other stuff right now. The internet said that I can just go. Oh, no, what they say that I need to do? First prepper. Can I just go there? is kind of the vibe I was getting. I don't think I can. I don't think that's exactly how it works. Okay, I have everything going to the spiritualist, right? Yes.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
We got some buddies up there. Oh, come on. Who put this fucking road in the way? I need you guys to move over.
Hey, mine's heavier.
How hard would it be to like drive up there? Doable? Maybe. Is it worth it? Probably not. I'm afraid not. I don't see a world where that's the case.
Okay.
I do see 320 ceramics though, and that's kind of tempting. What was that? How did that happen?
Right on. Gotta stretch my legs.
I actually can get this area without time fall if I wait 20 minutes, so maybe we do that.
Let's get going.
Thanks, Jumbie.
Let's get a move on.
See how much of this I can fit. Okay, that is all of it. Whoa! Anything? Why is there a time fall shelter all the way out there? Is there anything over that? You could go to the top of the mountain. I don't know, I think that's kind of the top, isn't it? It's more like a crater over that direction.
Safe travels. Begin scanning. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID.
Is that a raccoon?
Weapons detected.
You have a pet raccoon. I didn't notice that.
Cargo verified.
Yeah! We unlocked the raccoon.
You should take this. I'm certain that it will be of use to you in your journey.
Yeah!
The only limits are the ones we impose upon ourselves.
Good work. New order.
Okay. The cosplayer, we are trying to get to the cosplayer. Any chance? Any chance? Not private locker, I'm sorry, the shared locker. What is that picture? Playing a dangerous game, aren't we? Keep forgetting to go back for the chiral deposits that we come across, like the big ones.
Weapons restrictions lifted. Safe travels.
How did someone get a truck all the way up here? What's the easiest way to do that?
Begin scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. All clear. Welcome, Sand Porter Bridges.
I would like... Yeah, give me this. And I think that's it right now.
Order assigned.
Glad I still have my self-defense grenade launcher on me. What do I have? Do I not have... I have the speed stuff on, don't I? That's why I'm going crazy.
Safe travels lifted.
You just chill right here for now.
Have a pleasant journey. Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Fragile Express ID verified. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. All clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges.
I talk to you? I can. Oh. Old gun components lost during delivery. Okay.
Order assigned.
Can I build? No, I can't. I'm gonna have to hope. I'm gonna have to hope that I have enough room for everything, and I think I will. It's 2 items, yeah.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
God damn it. That was like the tiniest drop, Sam. What are you doing, my friend? Oh no, what are you doing? Ah. Dude, I don't even know if my... I don't even know if this is gonna reach the whole way. I'll try it. And hope. It will. Okay, we're good. Okay, I'm glad I brought the ladder. We're just gonna go back the way we came. Good throw, Sam.
Until next time.
Good work. New order
That's it?
available. Please access
You gotta connect me, dog. You gotta connect me. Oh, okay. That's fine. Wait, this is coming from the prep. This doesn't even matter. None of that matters. No, none of these matter.
Hello?
I think they do want you to set up a zipline network, like, across this top area. This is gonna be... First prepper is gonna take some time. But maybe that's what we do. Maybe we just work on... Oh, we need to go get the other guy still. Yeah, I don't know how to tell you guys this, but there is someone all the way down there.
weapons restrictions lifted.
We're reaching the point where I think maybe we do what we have here, and then we only take orders that are specialized,
Get a move on.
and we just start TPing everywhere. I think we're hitting that point. I gotta find something to throw on here because Germa's done. Tears of the Kingdom's woodworking is pretty solid overall. I love the woodworking one. I would believe one of
fascinating.
Annie Austin's earlier videos was on the woodworking in Skyrim. I think that was one of the really early ones. That was a really fun one. And you guys, actually, this is going to be pretty visually inclusive, I imagine. You guys aren't going to get to see it. You'll have to watch along with me, I'm afraid.
Wood in video games is not real. But if it was real, how good would it be? My friend Eden is a furniture maker who loves and knows wood. And today they are going to rate the quality of the woodworking in The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom / Breath of the Wild. Wahoo! All right, let's find some wood. What's it? All right, first up, let's talk about the furniture in Hateno Village. We're going to start with this dining set. So obviously we want to talk about aesthetics, but I also want to talk about realism. I want to talk about how they made it. What are we seeing here?
I'm seeing some stuff that I like. This is built very much similarly to Ulfric's table in Skyrim. You can see the half-lap joints where the legs kind of cross into each
Right,
other.
that's these on the end.
That's those on the end. And you can even see what looks like should be a stretcher, you know, poking through the ends of both sides of the legs. but there's no wood in between
Right.
underneath, where normally in both Ulfric's table and in a table you would make. In the real world, you would want to just have one long piece of wood passing through both of those, which would add a lot of structural integrity to the table.
One of the things that you mentioned about Ulfric's table in Skyrim is that you could remove the stretcher and collapse the table to take it places.
Yes.
Would that work in this case?
Hypothetically, it would, but I would say I'd be apprehensive to not glue them in because they are so thin that they could easily be knocked out, whereas
Right.
a whole stretcher would have a lot harder time being moved in and out of the piece. Something I do want to say about those little rectangular ends there, if you want to get a good look going, is that you can see they did a really good job. They have rendered the end grain of the wood.
Oh yeah, that
is-
was a big thing last time.
That is something Skyrim, they all just gave it kind of the same side grain wood texture, whereas this you can see that is distinctly looks like the end grain of a tree. In fact, you can see that is from the very middle of a tree, what we could call the pith. And beyond that, you can see, this is something that happens to pith in real life, we see cracks expanding from the very center of it. Really interesting, really nice detail. I like that a lot.
Can we take a moment to zoom in on the quality of the textures on the end grain here? Because it honestly, not only do you see the end grain of the tree, right? You can see the rings. Each one is different. It's
Right.
not even the same. They're like different types of trees.
Absolutely. And what I do find interesting, you would probably not see this in real life, is that almost every piece has the pith in it. You can see
Right,
it's the
true.
middle of where those circular rings all meet up in the very center, and that is something you want to avoid in real life because, as I mentioned, that pith is going to naturally want to crack and break
Right.
apart as the wood ages. So it's not something you really want in your furniture generally.
Can we take a second to look at this slightly more ornate cabinet? It doesn't look complex, but I'm curious if this is like realistic, if this makes sense, you know? Seems very simple.
It does seem realistic, and it does seem very simple, both at the same time. I would wager that what we're looking at here is two very thick pieces on the end, creating both like the legs and the sides, so to speak. I would guess that those are tenoned into the top, maybe one long wide tenon, which you could think of as a dado. One thing that I think is really neat is the way that these, I guess, drawers, so to speak, are constructed. They're not really drawers. It's
Yeah, it almost looks like you would, because you've made things like this I've seen with these little like spinny hinge thing or whatever the hell you want to call them. You know,
Yeah.
little tiny thingies, little nougat lashes.
I like that nougat latches. Yeah, what's interesting to me about this is that it's looks to me like what we would call a drop front, where
Almost
you
like
would
it will fall open.
Right, exactly. You would twist that little piece of wood out of the way, which would allow it to fall open. You can see there are iron hinges on it, so it wouldn't just
And then
fall all
you
the
could
way
put
off.
like
You could put anything you don't want to be
like a pizza oven
visible.
almost.
Right, a very cold pizza oven.
recipe book.
Recipe book, your nasty magazines, your
I don't know
Bokoblins
anything
Weekly,
about-
you know what
I
I'm
don't know
saying?
about anything about that.
But yeah, I think that's a really neat thing. It's not something that I've really seen a lot. That
Did you
kind
say
of drop
weekly?
front. Bokoblins
Every
Weekly,
week,
man.
they're doing another one.
All
Three
right.
legs.
3 legs. Now you might think that's weird looking at it.
I do think it's weird.
But there is a lot of historical precedent for 3-legged chairs, and they're perfectly fine actually, as long as you orient the legs correctly. Personally, I couldn't speak to this. I actually might be a little suspicious that this would be tippy.
Looks like it would
to
be
the
tippy.
right or the left.
You gotta spread those legs out.
Right, you would want more splay on the
Yeah.
front legs, and even a little bit of rake on the back leg would be nice.
Is this then like tenoned into the butt part?
Right, we
Or-
can
or
only
what?
assume that there is an internal tenon in there. That would be a really weak way of constructing this.
Yeah,
I would much
it
rather
seems weak.
see that lapped into the back so that it is, there's a joint cut out
Yeah.
of the seat that can fit into. So this realistically would not make a very strong chair at all.
Seems pretty sturdy.
No, there you go. I've been proven wrong.
All right, so all told, how do you feel about the furniture in Hateno Village? Tables, chairs, buckets, stools.
I'm gonna give it a solid B.
A solid B, okay.
Yes, the weird stretcher that's not a stretcher on the table off-puts me a little bit, and the back connection on the chair I think is pretty weak, but all in all, I'm really liking a lot of the furniture in here, and the details are fantastic, of course, but it's Nintendo.
All right, a B.
Yeah, give it a B.
A
Give
B
it
is good. All right, next up, we're in the Rito Village. Bird people building tables, believe it or not. Is it a good table?
You know, Austin, it's a great table.
It's a great table.
I might call it a great table.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would have expected Skyrim to be so much better than this,
No.
but it is not. It's not doing it.
Not doing it so far. Yeah, this is definitely beating Skyrim out. First of all, I just really like the shape of this top. they've managed to make it kind of decorative design just by the way they cut the ends of the boards. You know, there's no carving, there's no special joinery or anything like that. Jump scare, there he is. It kind of has a kind of feathery aspect to it. You know what I mean? It could kind of.
Oh, that's a great point.
Working off.
Yeah,
of,
it does. Nintendo.
They're smart over there. They got a lot of thoughts in those brains. And it, it just goes further to solidify the identity of the Rito. That's one thing that I found while I was playing Breath of the Wild, is that every area and every kind of race does have a really solid kind of identity that goes beyond just the way fact they look and maybe even like act different.
That's
to
awesome.
Their
Like down to the woodworking.
Exactly.
In terms of the stuff under the table, like the sort of the pieces that are not aesthetic but are functional.
Yeah.
What do we got going on?
Pretty simple trestle construction. That's what we'd call these. These kind of two separate wide legs with very wide.
You know
feet.
what they look like?
They look kind of like birds' feet, don't they? Yeah, they look a lot like birds' feet.
This is incredible.
And it's interesting because I was questioning at first. You can see from the far leg that the little toe, so to speak, that's facing us on the close leg doesn't go through.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And you would expect it to on a normal table.
Hang on, I'm sorry. I think I changed my mind. I actually want to like pay attention to this video. Since this is a visual video, I want to actually pay attention when I watch it.
Did you know that Delfino Plaza
right
has an unemployment rate of almost 23%? For the uninitiated, that's a really high unemployment rate. That's almost as high as
We're going to check out Super Mario Sunshine's confusing economy.
the unemployment rate during the Great Depression. So what I want to know is, how come people in Delfino Plaza are so happy, but people during the Great Depression were so sad? Why doesn't Delfino Plaza seem to be experiencing any of the ill effects of a serious economic crisis, despite its high unemployment rate? Figuring this out is going to take some legwork, and it's going to require gathering a lot of data. But one important thing to note is that while Delfino Plaza is the biggest city on Isle Delfino, it's not the only location on the island. There are hotels, an amusement park, a fully functioning port, tons of places outside the main city where residents may live or work. So, in order to assess the economic health of a place like Delfino Plaza, we need to not only take into account the situation there, but also what's happening in the surrounding communities like Pianta Village or Rico Harbor. We need to figure out why there is no one in Noki Bay. We need to figure out how many guests are staying in Hotel Delfino, and so much more, which means we have a lot of ground to cover. Let's stop wasting time and get started. Now, the first thing, and really the main thing we have to do, is get a sense of what the unemployment rate is in all of these different areas. Does anyone know what the best way to get a sense of the unemployment rate in a local area is? Anyone? Anyone have any ideas? That's right, we're doing a direct survey. What this means is that we're talking directly to anyone that resides in any of the communities or locales in Super Mario Sunshine, and using whatever information we can find out to determine if they're employed or unemployed. It sounds simple, but just let me demonstrate with our very first survey candidate. This guy's upset about graffiti. He says that this is his wall. Oh no, it looks kind of like a radio tower. So this is probably where the devs alerts broadcast from, which means if this is his building, he's probably employed. Thank you for your employment, angry sir. Isn't that fun? I mean, think about what we just did, right? There's a guy complaining, he claims ownership over the building, and then we take context clues to tell us what the building might be, and ergo, we've determined that he's the property owner of the radio broadcasting station. So really what this is it's a combination of what these people say, what they're doing, what they're wearing, where they're standing, and any other context clues that we can find. Now, let's talk about Delfino Plaza as a whole. Right? Delfino Plaza is the tourist hub of Isle Delfino. It has beautiful streets, quaint canals, blah, 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 and it's from here that any visitor can travel to the various other appealing locations on the island. For the most part, things aren't too complicated economically. You've got 4 people working at the market, you've got some sailors that are presumably employed based on their dress, you've got someone carrying mushrooms to sell, you've got some police officers. All of these people are employed. And honestly, I'm jealous of them. Sometimes I wish I could just work at a food stand and sell food to people. I think I'd be good at it. Hey, come buy my food. What kind of food is it? It's Caribbean spiced tofu from today's sponsor, Factor. Gotcha. In a way, I guess in that sense, I kind of am a food vendor because I stand here on your TV screen and sell you this food, right? The chefs that work at Factor are employed. You know what they do all day? They freshly cook meals in big, beautiful industrial kitchens. They put them in little trays and then they mail them to you so you can eat them at your convenience. That's literally what Factor is. Chefs make food that's reasonably easy to reheat. They send it to you when you need it, and then you quickly and easily cook it in minutes. I'm a real convenience-oriented eater, and Factor is a convenience-oriented service, and they have juices. Now, I'm not pressuring you, but if you can, you should get the juices with your meals. The juices are very good. It's like
Hang on, what do I need here? $450 metal. 450 and... Oops. $450, 400.
Available. Please access delivery.
The pizza! Oh, the pizza! I forgot about the pizza. Fragile and time sensitive, and it's a massive shipment. What am I doing?
Order assigned.
Wait, what was this quest? Oh, collecting. Oh, collecting. Okay. Is it? Delivery. As opposed to collection. What am I delivering? Retrieve. Okay, retrieve. Is it raining down there? No.
It was milked straight from a Yoshi. I don't think that makes sense. If you're curious and you want to get a week of meals delivered to you, go to factor75.com or click the link below and use my promotional code. If you don't know what a promotional code is, it's a string of letters and numbers that they give me, and then I give it to you. And if you type it in, you get a discount. The promotional code today is it's AnyAustin50. Go to factor75.com and use promo code AnyAustin50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. That's factor75.com, promo code AnyAustin50. I did that off the dome. I didn't even write it down this time. Over here, we have two people that I'm presuming are tourists from another part of the island based on how they talk about reading a guidebook. And they seem confused about how cities work. So they're not going to count for this part of the survey, but they will go to the total population of the island. Yes, we're tracking the total population of all these places and the island as a whole as well. It's going to be a lot of infographics at the end of this video, okay? We also have this guy who forces sunglasses on unsuspecting tourists, kind of like those people you'd find outside of Central Park. You know, the people who like come up to you and then force stuff into your hands, and then they pressure you to pay for it. So I think this guy's kind of like that, so he's employed. Now, where things get complicated is that there are a lot of people in Delfino Plaza, and honestly in this game as a whole, who just sit around. They don't do anything. They don't work, or they don't seem to work. They look like they've never worked, which really leaves me no choice but to consider all of these additional people unemployed. 22 employed persons and 5 unemployed persons means that Delfino Plaza has an unemployment rate of 22.7%, which is not great, but also it's actually not much worse than the next area we have to survey, Bianco Hills. Bianco Hills is the first proper level in the game. Right when you enter the level, you're greeted by 3 people. One of them is another one of those guys who tries to get you to take sunglasses from him, so we're counting him as employed. Then we've got 2 other people, and these people, they don't really do much. You know, you're the one person who visits me over and over. Well, you never move, do you? My thought was that they might be some sort of like greeter for this area, but if that were the case, they should be like standing at the ready, you know? Saying hi to the Mario when he comes in, which they don't do. They're kind of like pacing in circles. Ultimately, I think they're both unemployed. The rest of this level is full of beautiful windmills and a field of coconut trees. There's a family here. There's some people hanging out near the windmills. Obviously, it's hard to say, but I think we can assume that these people are working on or sort of near the windmills. I'm not entirely sure what they're milling, honestly, but there are coconut trees here, so maybe it's like a coconut sugar mill. I don't know. Now, I'm sure it's obvious by this point, but compared to Skyrim, Isle Delfino is not exactly an employment-forward community. Basically, everyone in Skyrim immediately tells you their job the second you talk to them.
Name's Nils. I'm the cook up at Candlehearth Hall.
But here, mostly, people don't say anything meaningful at all. This leaves us to rely pretty heavily on context clues like an archaeologist might when examining an ancient dig site. So despite the fact that this guy doesn't have much to say, I think he's employed. Here's why.
I feel like if he was unemployed, why would he be standing in this very specific spot, guarding the bridge wearing a hat? He'd be lazing around somewhere. But he's not. He's dancing, he's working. He is standing in a very specific, like, notable spot, so I'm gonna go with employed.
There's another guy standing in front of a cave in Bianco Hills as well, which we're counting as employment. And then there's this guy, who I'm pretty sure is a journalist because he's dressed like a journalist, and he said he came here to see how things were in the wake of some sort of recent disaster, which just feels like journalist behavior. Altogether, Bianco Hills has a local population of 13, with 8 employed persons, 2 unemployed people, and 3 people not applicable, giving this area an unemployment rate of 20%. Not looking good so far, but we have a long way to go. The bustling shipping port of Rico Harbor is our next stop, and you would think that a shipping port would be a real bastion of employment, and it's not, but in this case, it's actually slightly worse off than Bianco Hills. Sure, you've got some people working the port, right? There's a ship captain, he's got his crew, there are people scrubbing the ships, there's a guy renting out squids, but then you've also got this guy who's treating this active port like a hotel pool, unemployed, and you've got these two who just stand at the start of the level and gossip. Unemployed behavior for sure. In total, Rico Harbor has 13 people in it, and only 2 of those people are actually physically on a boat doing work. Every other sailor is standing around kind of observing, and if you pay close attention, you might see why. A lot of this port is automated, which of course is very efficient, but I almost wonder if that's why we're seeing a slightly higher rate of unemployment here than we might expect. Maybe these 2 people are actually recently laid off dock workers. Hopefully they had a strong union and got themselves a generous severance package. In total, Rico Harbor has a population of 13, 1 of which is a child, and 3 people unemployed, giving it an unemployment rate of 25%. So far, things aren't looking super good for Isle Delfino. When your literal port has a 25% unemployment rate, well, that doesn't bode well. That being said, we still haven't gotten to the main industry for this island, which is, of course, tourism. Welcome to Gelato Beach, a beachfront resort just a short swim away from the lovely Pina Amusement Park. Gelato Beach is not in great shape. Nobody wants to swim because the waters are dangerous. Nobody is working at the tiki bar. There honestly just aren't that many people here overall. It feels like this is basically meant to be the Isle Delfino equivalent of the Polynesian resort at Disney World, but for the most part, it's pretty underutilized. Currently, the only people actually visiting the resort are these 4 people, and none of them seem to be having any fun at all, except this lady who's having fun bullying her partner. I told you what a bad swimmer this guy was, right? Why are you... Here's a pro tip for you guys. If any of you are in a relationship, don't ever put down your partner in front of an Italian man. It's bad form. Aside from that, there are only 5 people here. 1 of them is the sunglasses con artist. 1 of them is the bouncer at the tiki bar or something like that. 2 of them are just sitting around unemployed, and 1 of them is an old retired guy.
Car
if you're paying
go
attention,
fast.
you've already
All right,
put together.
hang on. Oh. Oh. that say? That say drift? How do I drift? Can I do that? Does this game support something like that? I don't know if I trust like that. Is that the drift? I guess. Can I just use the Roadster now? Because that'd be sick. This thing kicks ass. It does say drift, but like how? Vehicle controls? B. It's really interesting. Cool. I like that. The driving physics in this are not the first priority of the game, but that was cool. Play again. I might do like maybe one more. In the Roadster, of course. Man, I can't believe they don't have why don't they have the title song available? Makes me sad, although it does get claimed anyhow. This does not fit at all. This does not fit at all. Whoa! Yeah, I don't think I understand the drifting just yet. It's really jerky, is what it is. I fucked it. It's over. No, I can't make that up. It's over. Can I just have the Roadster? Death Stranding. Unlock Roadster. You have to S rank. S rank any Roadster race, and then you have to S rank all 4 of them to get the long range model. Guys, I don't think I'm good enough to do that. I don't think that's happening. Get the drift, man. I don't understand the drift mechanic very well. I think we take the L here.
That means Gelato Beach has an unemployment rate of 50%. Yikes. I want to know exactly how this island resort ended up on the vacation itinerary of the most powerful woman in the world, given that so far it hasn't really offered anything in the way of amenities or sightseeing. Maybe the princess is just a really big fan.
I do really want it though.
Welcome to Pina Park, aka Employment
We can come
City.
back if we need to.
Interestingly, Pina Park is entirely staffed by Noki, which are a species or a race. I guess it's a race. These are people who look like little seashells. The park is vibrant, it's bright, it's exciting. Families of Piantas, the other race on the island, are visiting the park. Fathers are bonding with their children. It's a pretty big juxtaposition from Gelato Beach. And the best part is, this is not a joke, 100% of the people that can work here are working here. There are 15 people residing in the area, 2 of them are children, and the other 13 are all doing various things around the park, from maintenance to greeting to performing to running the rides. This is more in line with what we were expecting, I think, that these high employment areas would counterbalance the more residential or leisure-focused areas. Hopefully that trend continues as we go through the game, and it might, because the next place we're visiting
is a hotel. This is Serena Beach. And guess what? This place also has 100% employment. Throw a pizza party. The vast majority of people here are visiting tourists from other parts of the island. You can tell because when you play the Shadow Mario level, the hotel guests have all been evacuated onto the beach, and those evacuees outnumber the hotel staff 9-6. I lied, it's actually 22-7. I forgot to count the casino initially. They also complain a lot. Evacuate everyone. Oh, they evacuated everyone. This is very convenient for me. Then we got these two people yelling at this poor worker. So you got two more tourists. Hello. You remember to stay out of the ladies' room. Okay, I will. I will not commit any sex crimes while I am at the hotel. Thanks for the reminder. They aren't happy being stuck outside, I guess. Which I guess fine. But also not fine. Chill. Underneath the hotel is a dingy casino, which is pretty funny to me. Did you know that there is only one staff member down here at the casino? Everyone else is just a patron eagerly gambling the night away. It's a popular spot though, and people seem to be having a great time, so I guess whatever. Hotel Delfino and Pina Park are by far the two most economically successful regions on the island, which is kind of weird to me. I mean, we'll get into it more later, but I kind of thought that this was supposed to be like Venice or Hawaii, like a rich cultural history, beautiful nature places. But it turns out it might actually be more like Florida with dopamine-oriented man-made entertainment attractions. And don't get me wrong, I like Florida, but its reputation is somewhat less wholesome and beautiful than what I thought Isle Delfino was going for. We only have 2 more levels to cover. First up, Noki Bay. This one's easy. There really aren't any people here. I think it's maybe 5 in total. There's a family of Noki, including an old guy, 2 younger people, and a baby. And then there's a raccoon that's overcharging for boat rentals. You know, the raccoons in this game are all very nice, but it's funny to me how every one of them is like a ruthless small business owner. I'm not sure if that's just like a reflection of a perceived earthly social phenomenon with regards to immigrant communities and small businesses, or if there's some like Japanese joke there about tanukis being good with money that I don't understand. But I find it very amusing. Every person in Noki Bay, aside from the baby child, is working in some capacity. The family seems to be doing like light kind of almost tour guide work and also like caretaking the land, which makes this place feel sort of like a national park or like an archaeological site maybe. But the important thing for us is that everyone in Noki Bay, just like the last 2 places,
We're going through the middle.
From Noki Bay, we make our way to the
Doesn't look like that guy's got a
official
gun.
level of the game, Pianta
We're going.
Village. I wish I could tell you that Pianta Village also has a 100% employment rate like the last few places we've looked, but it's kind of the opposite. Sort of. Pianta Village really
my
represents
gosh.
what's so complicated about enumerating this whole game, which is that the Piantas they really just love sitting around doing nothing. There are a total of 24
Yeah,
people
we
in
outta
this
here.
village, and aside from children and the elderly, 10 of those people don't have any discernible role in the village other than sitting around enjoying life, which is, of course, not a job. You're not supposed to enjoy life. You're supposed to work and be miserable. There are some people with obvious jobs here, like the mayor, the mayor's wife. There's a pool cleaner and some entertainers. But altogether, that only leaves 9 people formally employed here, which is less than the 10 people who aren't employed. Which means, guess what? Pianta Village has the highest unemployment rate of any location on the island at 53%. Which is just wild. You would think that no society could function if half of the able-bodied people in it didn't work, and yet it does seem to be functioning. How could this be possible? Before we actually try to figure out how that's possible and whether or not Isle Delfino is in a good place economically, there are a couple of other non-level locations we have to quickly add into our calculus. Firstly, there's a cutscene where Mario gets sent to court, and that cutscene has 1 judge and 1 lawyer, both of whom are employed. Just before that, when you first arrive on Isle Delfino, there are also 4 employed people working at the airport. Also at the airport are 2 tourists who seem to be waiting to leave Isle Delfino to go on vacation, which I think is kind of fun. I don't know where they're going. I like to think they're actually headed to Sochi in Russia, because canonically, Piantas have been to Russia. I don't know if you remember that from the background of Mario and Sonic at the 2014 Sochi Olympic Games. Anyway, that adds 6 more people into the unemployment pool, which makes a total of... You know, I'm going to need to get a calculator and add all this data up. So give me just a second. In fact, why don't I'm going to take all this information we've gathered and just put together a full report on Isle Delfino, and I'll come right back and I'm going to present that information to you, okay? Hold on 1 sec. I'll be right back. Okay, hello, folks. Welcome to the... Excuse me, hello. Today we're going to be talking about the economic situation on Isle Delfino. So strap in. Make sure your phones are on silent, obviously, for this, because we have a lot to get through, and I don't want to be interrupted. Total surface payroll employment on Isle Delfino is at 76 persons, and unemployment is at 22.5%.
the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Isle Delfino is a tropical island known for its amenable climate, laid-back culture, and wide variety of appealing destinations for tourism. The island as a whole has a population of roughly 150, the majority of whom are a race known as the Piantas. There are also Nokis, a smaller bipedal shelled creature that they reside in various communities on the island, and raccoons, furry business-minded people that make up the smallest portion of the demography. The main industry on Isle Delfino, is tourism, and nearly every area on the island has been developed for some sort of tourist use. Based on our observations, the local population seems content with the availability of resources in their community, and the Bureau didn't witness any abject poverty during our survey. That being said, the calculated unemployment rate is 22.5%, which is very high. One of the key takeaways from our survey is that the amusement park, Pina Park, is far and away the main attraction for anyone coming into the area, and the nearby hotel, Hotel Delfino, is the primary place that visitors stay when they're on the island. Other attractions, like the resort at Gelato Beach, are all but ignored, with only a few adventurous tourists, abandoned entertainment complexes, and severely understaffed restaurants. Beautiful nature preserves like Noki Bay are also entirely unvisited, forcing local business owners to charge exorbitant fees just to stay afloat. In terms of population distribution, the most populous areas are, unsurprisingly, Pianta Village and Delfino Plaza. The least populous area is Noki Bay. A ranked list is displayed on your screen of each area and its population count, so feel free to pause and peruse that information as necessary. It should be noted that given the size of this survey, some error is expected in our data. Each location on the island is constantly changing, and from one day to the next, our enumerator may not have had access to every portion of each municipality. While the Bureau always does everything we can to ensure that the right conclusions are drawn from the data gathered, some inconsequential oversights may have occurred. The Bureau always strives for the highest level of accuracy, and we welcome any feedback from the public. One of the major face value concerns for the economy on Isle Delfino is how the unemployment is divided up demographically. Of the 21 people unemployed on the island, 100% of them are Piantas. There isn't a single Noki or a single raccoon that's unemployed. We refer to this as a face value concern because if we saw something similar on Earth, we would generally consider it a sort of red alert situation, but in the context of Isle Delfino, there doesn't seem to be much discontent among the residents about this fact. Everyone on the island seems perfectly happy to be working if they're working, and perfectly happy to be unemployed if they're unemployed, which implies that, at least in large part, their basic needs are being met regardless of their employment status. The most likely explanation for this arrangement is that the island's foray into modern entertainment tourism has been so lucrative and the entrepreneurial involvement from residents so extensive that at any given time a large portion of the population can afford to maintain a state of semi-permanent vacation. It may seem counterintuitive to us here on Earth, but there's no technical reason why, within a single community, the effort required to generate enough revenue to sustain the population couldn't be less than the labor available from that same population. And as long as everyone agrees to use that surplus of revenue to sustain the community as a whole, you could have a large sub-demographic of people who just don't work and don't need to work without causing acute stress on the system as a whole. However, systems like this aren't common, and there are two reasons why they tend not to sustain over long periods of time. Firstly, it only takes a handful of selfish actors to unravel the arrangement. It only takes a handful of selfish actors to unravel the entire arrangement fairly quickly. As soon as any participant in the system starts feeling as though their share of the resources should be commensurate with their perceived level of participation in the generation of those resources, they can quickly form a coalition with the other high-effort participants and override the social order. Assuaging this concern is difficult because you either have to convince the population that they don't deserve more resources just because they believe they're doing more work, or you have to somehow ensure that everyone is participating more or less equally in the labor, which disincentivizes or outright forbids anyone from overperforming and can ultimately cause the apparatus that's generating the resources, in this case a stunning modern entertainment complex featuring amusement parks, hotels, and casinos, to deteriorate in quality and lose the very patrons that are generating the revenue to care for the island's residents. This is a dense report, you guys. My God. The other major risk here is that when you create an island paradise that allows 30% of the population to relax all the time, outsiders are going to want to be part of that island paradise. As more people move to Isle Delfino to enjoy the fruits of their economic system, the burden on the island's resources will grow, and eventually there will no longer be a gap between the resources available and the labor required to generate those resources, meaning people won't be able to sit around vacationing anymore. One way to control this is by having strict immigration policies, which based on the demographic makeup of the island might might already be in place here. But a heavy-handed and top-down approach to immigration
What's
control
going on,
also
Dash?
tends to backfire. It's a complex problem to solve, and we hope that the government of Isle Delfino can mitigate the risks associated elegantly and effectively, because the goal of allowing your citizens to labor as little as possible, thus allowing them to enjoy the beautiful fruits of human existence, is a noble one, and one that we at the Bureau hope one day will be achieved in full. Whether it will be achieved by the colorful cast of Super Mario Sunshine remains to be seen. And that brings us to the end of our report. That is the economic situation in Isle Delfino. Thank you very much for your time. I hope all of you have an excellent, beautiful day. Follow me on Instagram.
All right. That was Super Mario Sunshine's Confusing Economy by Annie Austin. What else do we have here? What do we want? Hmm. Oh, this one's an old one. This is 3 years ago. Clock Town.
Welcome one, welcome all to Clocktown. At first glance, a bustling city, a
You can
thriving
feel
economy,
the age
an
on this one.
exceptional labor force.
It doesn't even have like
fully
a
staffed
no
police
face cam
department.
or anything.
But what's really going on underneath the surface, underneath this beautiful facade? Is Clocktown truly a thriving paradise, an economic free market economy of perfect employment and a great, you know what I'm saying? Well, that's what I'm here to find out. I think the easiest way to do this is going to be to go zone by zone. So the Clocktown is divided into 5 zones. So we're just going to go zone by zone and try to figure out who's employed and who's not, okay? So first up, Castle Guard, definitely employed. This guy seems like he's employed. He has an apprentice, so he must be employed, right?
Mike is very
Dogs,
different
we're
as
not counting
well. Yeah,
dogs.
it's pretty
This guy,
noticeable.
what is he doing? He's a construction worker. A lot of construction
Definitely,
in this part of Clocktown.
definitely
A lot
feel
of
the
unskilled
early
labor, they
works
call
here.
that, which is a stupid phrase. This guy, does he have a job? Well, he's dressed like all of the construction people, and he's talking like them. But as far as we can tell, all he's doing is standing around. So if he's got a job now, if he keeps this up, he's not going to have one much longer. This guy standing on top of this thing is the apprentice of the guy yelling at him. Is an apprenticeship a job? I think as far as we're concerned, that counts as a job as well. And here comes the mailman. That counts as a job, right? You can tell this person has a job because they say, I've already sold out of my wares, which means they must run a small business, which is great for this economy. This country loves small business. Now, as far as I know, there's only one other person in this part of Clocktown, and that's inside this building. It's everyone's favorite, Happy Mask Salesman. Now, say what you want about this wandering freak, but if you're a salesman, you've got a job. So thank you for being employed, my friend. We appreciate it. And I'm pretty sure that's the extent of everyone in this part of town. Very good.
Man, I
South
kind of just want to
Clocktown,
get in and get
7
out with
employed
this one. I don't
people,
want to fight all
1
these guys if
TBD,
I don't
but
need
probably
to.
unemployed. Next up, we're going to North Clocktown.
And I
First
kind of
off,
don't think that
easy
I
one,
do.
You've got a guard. Guards are employed. They're employed by the state. Thank you for your service, or whatever.
No,
Next
it
up,
says
we
I
got
have to
this
get-
kid.
I
I'm
have to
pretty
get in
sure
both
that
of those.
The official U.S. Census doesn't count children, but I guess let me look. According to the United States Department of People Who Need a Job, the standard unemployment rate, referred to as U3, a person is counted as unemployed if he or she does not have.
Oh, it was too late.
A person is counted as unemployed if they do not have a job, full-time, part-time, temporary, they're actively looking for a job, and they're currently available to be hired. So people who are unavailable to be hired, like
Alright, I'm setting
this
the
human
controller
child,
down.
they would not count. And it also doesn't count if you're not actively looking for a job, but we all know how those statistics get calculated because we all had to file for unemployment, so we're just not going to think about that piece. Next up, We got this guy. I'm pretty sure you can't deny that Tingle has a job. While I stand here waiting for a ferry, I sell maps to help out my father. That's a job. Tingle's got a job. He's a working man, okay? You can't make fun of that. That makes another job. Will you buy one of Tingle's maps? No. Somebody else who lives in North Clocktown is going to be this person up here. This little somebody that we like to call the Great Fairy.
I think I just got all four of them
Great Fairy
there.
have a job?
No, I missed
I
that
mean,
guy.
if you go into somebody's house, which this is what it is, and they fix you up nice, you know, or they cook you a home-cooked meal, that doesn't mean they have a job. And also, if she
These
did
guys
have a
don't really
job, if
seem to
this was
care,
her
though.
job, she would be going out to get the fairies instead of having me. Maybe she runs a non-profit, is what this is. Either way, I'm saying the Great Fairy is unemployed. If she is employed, it's in like a weird hippie commune way.
Sleep
as
grenade,
opposed
dude,
to,
these
like,
things are so
employed in the eyes
busted.
of the state kind of a way. And I'm looking for employed in the eyes of the state. Now you might be thinking that's it for North Clocktown, but you'd be wrong. Inside of this hole are a
Absolutely
couple more
insane how
folks
strong
who,
these are.
Work in North Clocktown. We got this person here. That's two Dekus that have a job. So that's two more people employed. Now that is pretty much everyone who works in North Clocktown, I believe. At some point, there are some people who come through here, but I don't think they work in Clocktown. I think the lady who comes through here works in a different district, so we're not going to count her unless I change my mind later. So that's it for North Clocktown. Great work. Next up, we're talking East Clocktown. This is a bustling district, a real bustling district. First and foremost, obviously, you got another guard. You've got this little kid. He's running around. Obviously, he doesn't count because he's not employable. Then we got these two jugglers.
What are you running to, bud?
Now, generally speaking, if you meet someone and they tell you that they juggle, you don't go, great, that's good that you have a job. You go, oh, that's cool that you know how to juggle. So we're going to have to talk to these folks and really get a sense of if they have a job. We're the twin jugglers from the Gorman Troop. All right, there you go. They work for a troop. That's a job. Two more for the employed thing. Just because they don't work hard constructing things doesn't mean that their labor is not important to a healthy society, right? Now I know what you're thinking. How come that doesn't count for the Great Fairy? Because she's a hippie, all right? These guys are entertainers working for a troop. She's a hippie who lives in a pond. She's basically a glorified frog. Now, there are lots of places to go indoors, so we're going to have to check with a lot of these local businesses to see what the situation is. First up, Town Shooting Gallery. This guy's obviously employed. And then we got everyone's favorite NPC. She's got a job for sure. Again, she's working at it right now. And then we got this lady working at a hotel. Thank you so much for having a job. And we got this old lady. Is she part of the workforce, or is she too old now? What do you think? Is this somebody who's hireable? Is she able-bodied to be hired? I don't know. You can have a wheelchair and work at a job, right? You see plenty of people in wheelchairs working at jobs. Why does her wheelchair have a spike coming out of the side? Never noticed that. Most likely she's not looking for a job, right? So we're gonna say that she doesn't count. She's not part of the workforce. Also in the hotel, we've got this guy. Does he have a job? He is working with these dancers to do a dance routine. But the guy that runs the iPad at your kid's dance recital doesn't count as somebody who's employed. And I think that's basically what he's doing. I think this guy might be unemployed. I mean, context clues, he's not wearing shoes. I believe we'll get a chance to talk to him later though, so I'm gonna put him on the TBD list. We're gonna call him Song of Storms guy. What about you? Are you unemployed? Is this dance thing a hobby or what? Maybe I'll blame it on the troop. The troop! She works for the troop. All right, the dancers work for the troop. 1, 2. What about you, Super Mario? This guy also probably works for the troop, if I remember correctly. This sleeping man. But I believe we'll get a chance to talk to him later, so we'll come back to him, I guess. All right, inside the milk bar in East Clocktown are plenty of folks, including this guy who was previously asleep on the bed. He's now drunk. I'm pretty sure he works for the troop. Wait a second. They probably don't. Look at this. I left the ranch, I went in the world of show business, I traveled around. They probably don't live in Clocktown and pay taxes in Clocktown. So if we were getting like an unemployment rate in all of Termina, they would apply. But they're not, they don't live here. Their business is probably based in like Turks and Caicos or something. So they don't count. This guy doesn't count. The 2 dancers don't count. The 2 jugglers don't count. So I gotta take all of them off the list. This guy, on the other hand, runs a bar in the city. Over here we got this fish. The fish also does not live here, so the fish does not count. In East Clocktown, we've also got these 2 clowns. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, they're in a shop, and they're clearly running the shop. They're in charge. Therefore, they must be employed. I'm not so convinced. She says, I wonder if it's a customer. I get the sense from these 2 that one of them works here and the other one's just mooching. She is the responsible one who's trying to get him to do his job because his parents gave him this business, but she's not actually employed by the business. Could be the other way around, but the fact that she goes, oh, is it a customer? That to me feels like she's trying to get him to pay attention to the fact that, she's trying to point out that I'm here. She's trying to get him to pay attention to a job. But in my opinion, one of them's employed and one of them's not. And with the way that they're running this business, neither of them should be employed. I also almost forgot about Anju here. She works at the hotel. So she's another mark for the employed. Thank you, Anju. She's not great at her job, but nobody ever said you had to be great to have a job, trust me. Now, the last building is going to be the mayor's office. Here we go. Employed person number 1. Another weirdly sexy sort of desk. What do they call these people? People who work at a desk? Desk women? Either way, she's employed. Over in this room, we've got this guy. He works for the troop, so he doesn't count. He's a fish, so he doesn't count. Who's this lady? Madame Aroma. Who's Madame Aroma? Oh, she's the wife of the mayor. Is First Lady a job? This person on Quora says being First Lady is a fairly full-time job, so it probably counts as a job. And then over in this room, we got loads of people. We got the mayor, he's got a job. We got 2 more guards, they've got jobs. And we've got 2 more workmen. They might be union representatives, but I still think that counts as a job. And that's going to wrap us up for East Clocktown, which means that the only main district remaining is West Clocktown. This is another big...
Hello? Hello? Oh, a delivery. Oh, you certainly aim to impress, don't you? If there was such a thing as a porter honor roll, your name would surely be at the top. Should I require your... Good work. New order.
Okay, these shouldn't be that bad. I'll take that and I'll accept this.
Order assigned. Weapons restrictions lifted.
Business district. So we can expect to find loads of employment here. First up, Curiosity Shop. Not open yet. We'll come back later. Next, Trading Post. This is an employed person. This scarecrow is sentient. Is he eligible to be employed? That's the question. I'm marking him down as unemployed. Next, we got the Bomb Shop. This has this creepy guy in it. He's employed. You've also got this Goron. I'm not sure if this Goron's employed. He's selling a powder keg. But if you deal weed, do you qualify as employed? Probably not. You'd keep it off the books. So he'd probably say he was unemployed. Yeah, because he's probably just selling powder kegs. You know, it's like the guy when you go to the bar and you go in the bathroom and the guy comes out. Never mind. course, we have another guard in this district, so that's another employed person. Thank you so much. The swordsman school has this guy, and that counts as being employed, right? Being a teacher? That's an employee. That's an employment situation. Over here, we got the post office, but we already counted the mailman, so we're good. Wow, what is he doing? Also, in West Clocktown is the lottery shop. This one's a little tricky because it's hard to tell how many people actually work here, but we're gonna just assume one. And then, of course, we got the person who runs the bank, and that's certainly bank teller. That's a job. Now, we've also got this guy who works at the curiosity shop. He is employed, therefore it counts as an employment. However, he looks an awful lot like the guy who worked at the other shop, so I'm wondering if he's just doing double duty. Because at this shop, there's a different guy who works it at night. You see this cool cat? First of all, his shorts. Second of all, he counts as another employed person. But I feel like the guy who was here earlier is the guy who was working at the curiosity shop, in which case he doesn't count as another person. So I'm gonna have to come back tomorrow during the day and see if I can confirm that. Is that the same guy? He's itchy like the other guy. Yes, it's the same guy. He works as the friendly store manager, but also the racist curiosity shop owner. Don't ask me how I know he's racist, but I know it from personal experience. All right, I believe that covers all of Clocktown. However, there are a couple stragglers we have to take into account quick now. So the first straggler that we have to check out is going to be that guy that we talked about. You know, first we talked about the guy yelling at the poster. We decided he's unemployed. Then we got this guy who was the guy who runs the iPod at the dance recital. Here's my argument. Long ago, I was in an animal troupe. Was. Past tense. So my guess, he unemployed, just like I thought. Another straggler is a little boy named Caffey. Or Cafe, or Kafai. There he is. Does anyone want to try to argue that this is someone who has a job? Because I don't believe it. He's unemployed. Don't forget about this nice gentleman who came all the way out here to clear the boulder from the Milk Road. He's dressed in the same uniform. He's doing the same type of work as all those folks in Clocktown.
I should turn that in, shouldn't I? Because that'll maybe get him on the network. That has to, right? Because there's like nothing else. Unless I find lost cargo for him.
There's no way he doesn't live in Clocktown and work for that same construction company. And he'd be easy to miss. I'd understand if you forgot about him, but I didn't. He is employed. And then the last guy we have to talk about is going to be the old man who works in the telescope zone. Now, everybody knows this guy's unemployed. So the argument isn't about whether or not he has a job. Clearly he does not. The argument is, does he live in Clocktown? Technically, he's not within the walls of Clocktown. That's over there. But he is connected to the Clocktown sewage system and therefore pays taxes as part of the municipality of Clocktown and therefore counts as living within Clocktown. So that's my argument. He's getting added to the unemployed list. All right, the enumeration is complete. Link's job working for the Termina Census Bureau, also known as the TCB, has come to a close. He's gathered the data.
Real quick, we do have a bunch of new mail. The first prepper. Good to meet you at last. The spiritualist. Can you believe it? I went to the beach. Thomas Sutherland. Can't wait to watch you win. The environmental scientist. Wheat's great and all, but the collector. We used to have things called magazines. Chat says, "You ever read a magazine, kid? Deliver me 400 kilograms of medicine, please. Please, I need 400 kilo. Just a Weasley 400 kilograms of boner pills." That's what you give the elder, right? You give him boner pills? I think you actually give him Viagra in one of the shipments. As a freak. I know. I know. Oh, that's good. Whatever, just give me the magazines. You hate that guy? Yeah, I kind of do too, if I'm being honest. I hate that he's in such an inconvenient spot. He's also just a crabby old man. Is that ageist? I don't think so. Maybe he should just stop being a crabby old asshole.
If anyone's watching.
Stuck into a lot of really rude old people recently.
Okay.
At my previous job, I gotta be real. I worked customer service. My previous job, I want to say the majority of rude people were older.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Fragile Express ID verified. Weapons detected.
They really got somewhere to be because they don't have, I don't know, maybe they don't have a lot of time left and they want to spend it not
Isn't Sam Bridges?
getting gas.
Very good.
I don't know what to tell you though.
Oh, you certainly aim to impress, don't you? If there was such a thing as a porter honor roll, your name would surely be at the top. I suppose you've piqued my interest in the outside world somewhat. However, as I still have reservations concerning the UCA, I'd prefer to enter into a contract for the time being. I trust that won't be a problem?
We got him. It was that easy.
It's done then? Excellent. I will be sure to test the connection shortly. I knew I was right to call on you. Take care. I'll be in touch.
Good work. New order available. Please have...
Okay, that one actually matters because it's a recovery. Oh, we could do that real quick while the mules are still down. I suppose.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
Somebody found a way to get some anchors down. I couldn't find the spot. They placed it all the way over there. It's too much work for a guy like me. Pelibot says this game is pretty dumb. Shut the hell up. I'm 100 hours in. You're now telling me this game is dumb? Like, what's the point you're trying to make here, bud? Oh! Uh-oh. Yeah, maybe Pelibot has a point. Maybe this game blows. Well, you served me well. Good one, Sam. Hey, where's my truck?
Now all he has to do is send it off to some bureaucracy to generate this month's Clocktown Jobs Report. Now, I'm very happy to present to you at the end of all of that work the employment situation summary
For Majora's Mask's Clocktown, the transmission of this material will not be released until Monday, August 15th. And if you would like a copy of the report, you will be able to find that down below so that you can read it yourself. So the big takeaways of the employment situation here is that total surface payroll employment is at 33 persons. That's the number of people who are working, who can work, who want to work within the jurisdiction. 33 total people. Not bad. That brings our unemployment rate to a whopping 17.5%. That is the findings from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Job growth primarily limited to construction industries due to the Festival of Time. Pretty much every other sector remained totally stagnant, despite there being an influx of extra municipal labor in the entertainment sector. We consider the high unemployment to be primarily due to, this is very silly. We consider the high unemployment to be primarily due to an unwillingness to hire, and we believe that the encroaching lunar body, the moon, coming closer is considered a strong contributing factor in that prevailing attitude towards hiring. That being said, the total number of non-working persons remained low during this census, which is good. It's only 2 retired individuals and 5 children. Those 5 children should begin contributing economically to the city soon. And just for everybody's reference point, 17.5% unemployment ties Clocktown with the country on earth of Ethiopia and is more than triple the unemployment rate of the least employed American city currently, which is Cleveland, Ohio, at 5.5%. This data comes from a direct survey conducted by the Bureau of Labor Statistics over the course of 6 days. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do they do the survey over the course of 6 days, given that the moon is falling in 3? I can't divulge those secrets. So that's it. Unemployment pretty high in Clocktown. A lot of people say that once unemployment starts to get to that level, you start to see rioting and unrest, which we definitely see within Clocktown. So I don't think things are going to go well for that place, but you know, what are you going to do? That's the situation as it stands right now. Maybe we'll check back in a few days and see how Clocktown is doing. Thank you so much for coming to the press conference today. I appreciate it very much. Of course, if you want to support these kinds of press conferences, you can post a comment down below saying, hey, I liked this video. Please make more videos about the unemployment rate of video game towns. If you do not want to see more videos like that, please do not post that, because you know, I'm here to serve you. I want to make videos you want to make because I am here to serve you. If you want to be here to serve me, you can go to patreon.com/any_Austin. This is a viewer-supported channel, and you get a couple of things if you join there. If you don't want to do any of that, I just have one more thing to say. Guess what? In my free time, I make a lot of music. I use that music in all my videos. You'll hear it at the end of every single video I make. So today, the last thing I have to say is please enjoy this song. I'll see you next time.
Let's see what else we got here. Resident Evil 4 unemployment rate? Why not?
Valdeolblos, a quiet rural Spanish town full of farmers, construction workers, with a simple-minded population that like to work hard and play hard. But what's really going on underneath the surface? How is this town doing economically? We're gonna find out by calculating its unemployment rate. Alright, now there's only one way to calculate unemployment, and that is by directly surveying the citizens of a town. Now, unfortunately, the citizens of this town really hate the Bureau of Labor Statistics, so you can't like go up and talk to them like you could in Pianta Village. So we're gonna have to do a lot of observing from afar. Now, what I'm seeing in front of me is 4 people that are working. Is that fair to say? This lady's doing bucket water job, that guy's doing bucket job, then you got hay man and wheelbarrow man. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and say all these people are employed. But I think that's about as easy as it's gonna get, because it's rapidly gonna become very difficult to tell who's who. So I'm gonna need to like keep track of how many total people are even in this village while they're chasing me around trying to kill me, which is gonna be fun. Now if I go back around here, I've got one more of the blue women, so I'll mark her down, and wouldn't you know it, She's employed. She's working on hay. That's some good hay moving. All right. Well, oh my goodness. Sir, I'm from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and I'm here to see if you're employed. Oh, God. All right, this job's going to be a little trickier than our last job, I think. Oh, my goodness. There's another man back here. All right. Sir, I'm under the impression that you were working on this. Oh, God. You were doing some work with this hay barrel. Ah! So I'm gonna, given the choice of weapon, I assume you were working on that pile of hay. So I'm going to go ahead and say that you're also employed, sir. Thank you so much. Oh, my goodness. There's a man up top. Was that Santa Claus? Yeah, that's Santa Claus. Okay. Now, sir, what are you doing up there? Because everyone else, when I came into this village, like it's clearly the middle of the workday, and this is not the type of place that you can just be standing around during the workday. Everybody needs to contribute. That's kind of the rules of a village like this. So who are you that you're standing up there doing nothing? What's going on with that? Ah! Like you're not even helping fend off the bureau, and that seems to be the one job that everyone does. So I'm sorry to say, sir, but it doesn't really look like you're employed. This is a very stressful enumeration. All right, is there anybody in this house? Hello? Employment? Leave me alone. Okay, well, a lot of new people just showed up, so now I gotta try and count them and see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, God. All right, a lot of new people just showed up, and I know one of them for sure is employed. And you know how I can tell? It's because of the chainsaw. And I mean, it makes sense. Everything in this town is built out of wood, right? So there's clearly a need for someone who can build. And he's the only one with a chainsaw. So I think almost certainly that man is employed. I mean, look at him. He is working very hard. No doubt. He's working harder than the rest of these people. He's putting his back into it. He's really got that hustle you want. You know, he works hard. All right, I just got a call from the Bureau, and they've authorized me to use lethal force. They said as long as I've accurately enumerated somebody, they don't have to be alive anymore. So I believe the entire village is chasing me at this point. And aside from the one guy I killed in self-defense, obviously, that puts the total population at 10 people. And I've currently counted 8 of them. Oh my God, they can climb walls. Now it's tough now that they're chasing me to tell whether they're actually employed or if they're doing this as a hobby. But if they're chasing me, they're clearly able-bodied and able to work. So what can we use to determine whether those guys are employed or not? I mean, we could certainly go by whether or not the other people that look like them are employed, but that's starting to sound a little bit like the birth of racism, so we're not gonna do that. Maybe what we'll do is I'll look and see if they have any weapons or any sort of tools on them. But like this guy, he's got nothing. He's walking around just like pretending to be somebody. Now that said, okay, they don't have any tools, but let's not discount the fact that they both showed up when the Chainsaw Man showed up. And the Chainsaw Man, we've determined, is an authority figure of some kind, because he's the only one who gets the chainsaw, and he also wears some sort of mask. So if you figure the Chainsaw Man actually owns and runs the construction company, and then maybe that was his whole construction crew out with him, and they were maybe like building a church or something. So actually, I think in this enumerator's opinion, we can probably count both of them as employed. Congratulations, sir. And congratulations to you as well. You're employed. Oh my God, more people just showed up. That's not good. And what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4 people showed up. They came from where? 5 people just showed up. Where do they come from? I'm going to assume they're all part of the same group or same family of some kind, because they came in all at the same time. So they all probably came from the same place, which means that we maybe could assume if one of them's employed, all of them are employed. So I suppose what we need to do is maybe investigate where they came from. And if they came from like just somebody's house, they're probably not employed. But if they came from like a farm, we could assume they are employed. So I guess that's what we've got to do. They all came from up here. Now I can't go that way yet, and I think it's actually quite a while before I get to that part of the game. That's according to the information I have from the Bureau, and it's quite a number of hours into the game until I get to that point. So we're just gonna have to continue on with our survey of the immediate village.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Maybe
It's
we'll
the
come
restart.
back to that.
Oh no, wait.
Later.
Oh no, I'm being silly. He's on the
Now, this
network.
next
We can
area
go
is
build the
very
thing now, right?
explicitly
Yeah, we can.
a farm. I think it's fair to say that anybody in this area is an employed farmer. Are we in agreement? If we're not in agreement, I don't care. I'm the enumerator. So first and foremost, we got this guy. He's working hard on doing hay. He's on hay duty. And back here, we got this guy. This guy's milking cows. You can tell by
Doesn't
his
need
cow
that
bucket.
much either.
And is there anybody else in here? Oh, we got another guy here. Look at this. These people work hard. Oh, and I got 2 more people. That guy's working hard in a different kind of way. Doing a lot of spins. Now this guy's a little more ambiguous, but he's got 2 axes on him. He's got one that he's trying to kill me with, and then he has a second one. And I think anyone who has 2 axes, if one of them's a killing axe, then the other one has to be a working axe, right? And if you have a working axe, that you're employed. Because why would you have a working axe if you weren't employed? And I believe that's everyone on this farm, so that's good. All right, on to the next area in that case. So many people to enumerate in this village. Just a nice cat. Oh, okay, 3 people up there. What are they doing? Just pushing rocks down on unsuspecting tourists. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Ah. So there were 3 people up there just standing there waiting to push a boulder on somebody walking by. So I don't like to make assumptions, but every time I've known people who just sat on the sides of the road and threw rocks or snowballs and stuff at cars, those were not people with jobs. That's not, I mean, I'm sorry, that's not employed behavior. What you guys are doing right now is not employed behavior. Where's your friend? There were 3 of you before. It's not employed behavior. You guys need to get a job, and just because I can't see him doesn't mean your friend doesn't count. Go get jobs. Okay, what's next? Oh my goodness, this does not look like the type of place that employed people hang out. This is decrepit. What kind of a person hangs out in a neighborhood of condemned houses with a stick of dynamite? An employed person? I mean, again, much like throwing boulders at a passerby, this is just, it's delinquent behavior.
All right, you're gonna have to give me a moment here. That one's good on metal, actually. So we need... $420 and $630. 420, 630. $420, 630. $390. 420, 630, 400. That's resin. $420, 630, 400.
Behavior. I mean, this is worse. This is worse than just delinquent behavior. This is like severe drug addict behavior. You know, hanging out in a house like this, just playing with dynamite. If you're addicted to drugs, I don't mind. But if you're addicted to drugs and you're hanging out in a house like this, throwing dynamite at people who try to talk to you, well, that's illogical behavior. Okay, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics is not going to count you as employed if you're going to behave like that. So that's 2 for the unemployment. All right, things have gotten a little out of hand as I've been enumerating, but don't worry about it. Everything's fine. So next up, we're in this valley area. It's unclear to me whether this valley is part of the village, but I do happen to know that the name of the village is Val de Lobos, which in Spanish means Valley of the Wolves. So I feel like this is probably the valley that they're referring to. Ergo, it probably counts. Before we go out these gates, though, we do have to tackle one of the most important questions that everyone was wondering. What about this guy?
Something that might interest you.
clearly he's employed. There's no question about that. But the question is he a resident of the village? If you've played Resident Evil 4 before, you know that he travels around a lot, you know? And if you listen to him speak, you'll hear that he kind of has an Australian accent. Now, Australians are allowed to move to other countries, okay? That's one of the privileges afforded to them by the Australian government. So it's possible he's Australian and he just moved here. And I do feel like based on the way he's dressed, he's not traveling out of this part of the world very frequently. He probably lives and sells stuff around here specifically and nowhere else. And I think given that, we can probably count him as employed. Much like with the farm, we probably just have to assume that everybody who's in this valley is either employed or unemployed as just a matter of context, because we're not going to be able to determine what each individual person is doing because all they are doing is trying to kill me. Whoops. How many people did I just blow up? 2? Okay, so I just killed 5 people. Oh, make that 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that 12? Oh, 2 more, 14. Whatever this valley is, it has to be some sort of business. There's no way there are 21 well-dressed, unemployed people in a valley like this, right? So let's see, this place, they've got like chains hanging from the roof, a lot of boxes sitting around. None of this feels residential. This is sort of like a work locker, right, with a grenade in it. Oh yeah, look at this. Yep. Okay, so it's a mine. That's what this is. This is a mine, and all these people work at the mine, digging up dirty rocks. I honestly don't think in playing this before I ever realized that this was like a mine.
I think this is the
It's
last
like
road.
It's like a little mountain
The
mining
last
town.
piece
Oh
of
my
road
God,
on the
there's 3 more
map
people.
that I
Make
haven't
that
connected
24.
yet.
Wait, what's that? 5 more, 6 more people? Now, as I'm walking around this mining village here, I'm noticing a distinct lack of residential amenities. There's not very many beds. I don't think I've seen a single bed, which I do think reinforces the idea or the theory that every single person we just dealt with was employed at the mine, because they're not here for lollygagging, right? Now, unfortunately, they're all dead, so I can't put the little employed things in front of their face, but what I can do is look up at the sky in heaven where all of them are, and we can put all the little things there. So 30 people employed. Who would have guessed that the Resident Evil 4 village was a mining town? Honestly. The next building we're going to be checking out is this. This is obviously some sort of factory. So once again, anyone in here we can probably assume is employed. Hello, what kind of a factory is this? What kind of work are we doing here today? Hello, factory workers. Congratulations on being employed. 1, 2, 3, 4 more employed at the factory. Look at all these people working. What are y'all doing at this factory? Burning? Oh, it's like a furnace? You guys are... Oh, you're probably taking the mine stuff and then you guys burn it and like turn it into bear traps, apparently. Oh, hello, sir. Congratulations on being employed. Another one for the factory, and I believe that's everyone at the factory. Okay, next up, there's a mansion in the village. We're checking that now. So far, there's nobody in it, but we're gonna just very carefully check. I've gotten a little bit cautious as an enumerator, for example, because some people don't seem to like that I'm here. Sir, all I wanted to know was if you're employed, for God's sake. I just wanted to know. Please, I'm just trying to do my job. Okay, next up is this guy. He's probably part of the construction company on account of the chainsaw. Probably took it over from the last guy. And it doesn't seem like these people live in the mansion, so we can assume they're here to do some sort of work, like maybe chop down these trees or something. Most likely these are like the groundskeepers for the mansion, possibly fence builders. But either way, this guy is employed. He's got two people with him, it looks like. Probably part of his crew, same as the other time we met one of these guys. So between him and those 2 people, that makes 3 more people employed. And then down here we've got 2 more people. Now these people don't look as employed as the other ones, to be honest. But they were staying in that little shack. And that shack kind of looks like a butler's house, you know? So these are probably like the butlers for the mansion up here. That would make sense. And finally, there are 4 people standing in between me and getting back to the starting village. Are these 4 people employed? Well, they came from the starting village. They're not playing with dynamite. They're not throwing things at me. They're not living in squalor. And they are standing around with tools next to all of the groundskeepers for the mansion. So, I mean, just hazarding a wild guess, there's no reason to think they're not employed. And now with them taken care of, guess what? We have made it back to the original village. Oh my goodness, and there's new people working. Wow, there seems to be some sort of indefatigable supply of workers in this here town, which is a little troubling that they have such a fine supply of people who just seem to want to work all the time and don't ask questions, and they live in tiny sheds. But you know, that's neither here nor there. So how many more folks we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of them hard at work, right? None of them are just standing around like last time we came here. 6. Make that 6. Looks like there are 9 people total in the town at the moment, and 8 of them are employed, but it looks like one of them is not. How come it seems like there's always one guy who is unwilling to participate? I guess no matter how good of an economy you have, you're always gonna have one person who just doesn't want to work. And I know there's been a lot of discussion about, oh well, if they don't want to work, then they don't count as unemployed. To a certain extent, I guess I agree with that. And maybe when I analyze this data, we'll make a different determination. But for now, I'm counting this guy as unemployed. Okay, I think that probably brings us to like maybe halfway done. There's quite a bit left to go though. Next up, we're going to be heading up towards the village church. Once again, we're going to assume that most people in this area are probably at work, but we'll do our best if we need to of discerning, you know, for each individual one. Here's our first contestant. She's come out of the
I need the
shed.
carrier to just calm down here.
Probably a caretaker of the church. That counts as employment. This man also came running as soon as I killed her. So, well, not running. He came walking. Tell you what, if I'm wearing the wrong pants, I'll come walking. All right, never mind. Let's forget I said that. Most likely, given where he is and when he's there, we're going to count him as employed as well. That's 2 employed. Surely it takes more than 2 people. Ah, so it does. How many people does it take to tend a church? Oh my god, dynamite! I feel like the dynamite is not something someone who tends a church would have. They were standing outside the church. I think regardless, it's most likely that they were employed. Hanging out in the back of the church. Probably you live.
That's not what I wanted to do.
Oh, it's just a bunch of people on the bridge.
Put 'em
What
back.
are y'all doing on the bridge? Are you working? I mean, you must be working, right? You must be doing something. Maybe if we check and see what's in this shed, there'll be some clues. There's a note nearby that talks about how all these people need to get something back, and it basically sounds like all the people in this village are in a cult, which makes sense given their behavior.
I think this will get me to 5 stars.
Question of, if you're in a cult, can you be employed by the cult?
A lot of stuff.
I'm not sure, but I gotta count these people. 1, 2, 3, 3 people. You know, after thinking about it more, I don't know if I believe that being in a cult makes you employed. Again, that would make literally everyone employed. You know, if you're a member of a church, that doesn't make you employed. If you work for the church, you're employed. And to me, the people on this bridge feel like people who are
Large
members of the
grenade
church,
pouch.
but don't necessarily work for the church. You know? They're like doing favors for the priest, but not necessarily employed in their own right. Now, he's holding a pitchfork, so it's possible he's a farmer, but everyone and their mother seems to have a pitchfork in this town, so that's not really proof of anything. For the time being, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to count half of them employed and half of them unemployed. Sorry. Okay, so we found the merchant again. This is the merchant.
So close.
And just for those of you who doubted whether the merchant was really employed here, look at this. My man has set up an entire United States Department of Defense in the basement of this shack. You want to tell me this man doesn't reside, you know, in this jurisdiction? Come on. Definitely employed. In fact, I'm gonna play the jingle again because he's so employed. This man might be the most employed man in the whole village. Okay, onwards and upwards into this next part. I'm limping. Oh, look at this. What is going on with these guys? They are putting this poor man through hell. Overall, I may be impressed so far with the employment situation, but I am honestly sort of disappointed at how much chicanery and delinquency is going on in this village, but we'll talk about that in the report later. I just here to gather data. I got this guy who may or may not be some sort of fisherman, but I'm gonna run past him for now. Ah, Christ. All right, so what's this area? Is this like a fishing place? The people are all dressed. Ooh, they're all kind of dressed like fishermen, and by that I mean they're dressed exactly the same as everyone else in this goddamn game. Choose stop. I just kicked your face off because of that. That was an apt punishment. All right, so that's one person down. I gotta count these people as I kill them. 1 dead, 2 dead, 3, nope, 3, 5, 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So I've got 20 people in this area doing something. The first instinct is that this is some kind of fishing pier, but it also could be like a nature preserve. So it's not clear whether or not this is a place that people are actually working, because there's no tools. There are 20 men hanging around here doing absolutely nothing. And if this was a place that people were fishing, participating, you know, there would be fishing poles or some sort of spear, and there was not. So it might just be 20 unemployed men hanging out in the swamp. They obviously had the resources to set up bombs and dynamite, but so did those other people, and we did say they were unemployed. I don't know. What would that make our numbers look like? That would make us have suddenly 30 unemployed people. That's a huge number of unemployed people. You know what? Maybe what I'll do is I'll take these 30 people? 20 people. I'll take these 20 people, and then whatever the unemployment rate of the rest of the group is, I'll apply it commensurately with those people. That's not the right word, but you know what I'm saying. So if the final unemployment rate is like 9%, then I'll just take that and apply that to those people and then distribute them that way. Does that make sense? All right, if you don't like that plan, you can just write a comment and then keep it to yourself. I feel like we're really exploring a lot of new methodology for unemployment calculations in this episode, which is also why it's taking so goddamn long. I feel like we're really exploring a lot of new methodology for unemployment calculations in this episode, which is also why it's taking so goddamn long. Okay, our precious enumerator is trying to make it across a lake, and I have a feeling, yeah, we're about to get attacked by a giant lake monster.
Oh my god, it's actually not raining there right now.
I probably don't need to ask, but are we going to include the lake monster in the survey? I'm going to go with no, on account of the lack of sentience. But
we have to be fast.
Counterpoint. All these people in the village are infected with a brain disease that makes them sort of zombified. So probably may not be sentient, right? So if we're going to include... I got to also play the game while I do this, sorry. So if we're going to include the zombies, would it also not make sense to include this fish? That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to include the fish as part of the non-applicable, but I'm just saying it's a thought experiment, right? Could the fish even hold down a job? Maybe that's the real question. Probably not. Boy, enumerating sure is tiring, and it makes me want to vomit blood. That's just part of the job, you know? I think I'm going to take a rest in this cabin and, you know, just sleep the silly off, as they say. And we'll do more surveying tomorrow. Alright, what do you suppose is behind this door? Some sort of employment office? Some sort of business? Some sort of entrepreneur? Nope. Just more dirt. Oh, there you go. Now, with this guy, we're starting to blur the line between, you know, again, it was a joke. We were talking about the giant fish. Does the fish count? And we were like, of course the fish doesn't count. But what about this? Can this be employed? It's like an alien. So that's 2 people, possibly not people. But, I mean, we have to count them because they're basically people. Honestly, okay, here's the argument. If you took my head off, like if you took the skin off of my head, I would also look like a crazy bug, monster, alien. So we can't really discriminate based on that. All right. So they definitely can be employed. I don't know why I was thinking it was okay to discriminate them just based on what they look like. That was a little problematic of me. But whether they're doing something that's employment, we still have to determine. And the way to determine that is to determine where we even are. This looks like a dam. And you do need workers to run a dam, so that's a good sign. Yeah, see, look, it's a crank. And you know, you don't have cranks if it's a residential Cranks only exist for places that are for employment, you know? No one's ever heard of a residential crank. Oh my goodness, more workers. 7 more people employed at the dam, which brings the total to 10. This piece of paper looks
Oh,
like
what's going on,
the
Tommy?
drawings of a lunatic. And I'm gonna lose track of what's what. But you know what, that's fine. It's my video.
Gone
and
momentarily.
You guys aren't gonna ever know if the data's wrong, because that
Oh,
would
I
require
see,
you
I
to
see,
go
I see.
survey all these people yourselves, which you're not gonna do because it's a huge pain in the ass. So I'm omniscient, not omniscient, infallible, like the Pope. God's omniscient. The Pope is infallible. The Pope is not omniscient. That would be weird. Also, if he was, we would definitely know, because we would be like, Pope, nobody knows if aliens exist. He'd be like, yeah, I do. Maybe he wouldn't say though. That'd be a popey thing.
You
That'd be
just
like a
got off
popey thing
work,
to do.
so it was pretty busy.
Would be
I'm
kinda
gonna
coy.
assume.
Popes are very coy. No, they're not. All right, we've arrived at this nice little field, this little gated field. Oh, that guy looked like he had a job. Those people have jobs. They're the door openers. Oh my God, look at all these people with jobs. 2, 4, 6, 8. The economic situation is getting worse and worse. So this is some sort of zoo, and in the zoo they've got an animal, and the animal is this. Now this animal is a humanoid, and it's making human-like decisions. I mean, I think if Shrek was employed, this guy is probably employed, right? That's kind of like the level we're looking at. I guess Shrek was able to like sing and dance and stuff though, so that's different. On the other hand, he is captive in a zoo. It's not like it's his job. Oh God. Unless this is more circus than zoo. If this is some sort of circus, right? Is there ever a job in which the person
Let's go
who's
get this
employed
last 5-star
has to be
real quick.
hoisted out of a room with
Real
chains?
fast.
Unless it's like a performance. But this doesn't feel like a performance. This man is out of control, and he's doing real damage to my body and mind. So yeah, he doesn't count. He's not. This is a zoo animal, not an employed human being. Now we have to head towards the church now. That's the next. Oh my Jesus Christ! Hello. Not seeing a whole lot of employment.
I can just follow the beach, right?
It's a very
It
nice
should be
church.
safe.
I like the church a lot, but it feels like all the people who worked here probably got preoccupied with something today and maybe ended up, you know, getting shot in the face.
I think
It's just what happens sometimes. When
Did
the
I
enumerator
get
comes to town, you better lock your doors because he's coming. He's
good
armed and
ship
fully
here?
loaded. Hello? Any employed people in here? Anybody? Oh, no. All right, the Bureau has sent a backup enumerator, so she's here to help me count. Oh my goodness. Well, sir, I like those robes. I can only think of one way someone like you could afford robes like that. Oh my God, the number of people in this village is unrealistic. Okay. This is ridiculous. All right, you stay here. Let's count these people first and foremost. I can't kill them yet because I gotta count them. 1, 2, Jesus Christ. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm really busy, just got unlucky because 2 of the Lyft drivers for the night called out. Uh-oh, it's I was told that these are like double-digit penalty day, or not double digit, but they're like double penalty days or something. Uh-oh. Like double points or whatever, I don't know. You just stuck around to help out, okay. No, it's raining. No. I think the beach is fine. I gotta keep the video going. We're almost done.
6, 7. Okay. Were those people employed? I don't know. I don't know. And I don't have the energy to figure it out, okay? They were at the church, but they weren't of the church. Were they people going to church? I don't know. I don't know. The only thing that was different about them is they had torches. Torches don't mean anything. Everyone in villages like this have torches. There's no way all those people were groundskeepers for the church. We already saw the groundskeepers for the church, and they're dead. So these people showed up from God knows where else
which means who knows how many of them were employed. And therefore, I'm going to add those people to the undetermined employment list. And at the end, we're going to take the employment rate and we're going to apply it.
Dash
to that.
still here? I don't know how crazy it actually is. I was talking with my manager because our one person is probably gone.
You really
I asked him, and he's like, yeah, she called off the past like 2 days on double point days, so she's done. She's done. Like, damn, is it that harsh? If you get sick for 3 days, you just fired? That's crazy. That's 5 stars. That's insane. We don't have to come back here.
listen. I know you've got a lot of stuff to carry, but if you have room for a little more, there's something I want to give you.
Yeah!
Thanks again for everything. And be sure to take care of yourself out there.
Good work. New order available. Please access delivery terminal for further information.
Yeah, we can take that. I could do that, but I'm not going to, is the thing. It's not happening, I'm sorry. I don't know what's so special about this, but I can take it. Depends on if she got... I think your autocorrect did something there. What, the sick time to approve off?
VOD can only be safely transported in a sealed container. And if that container breaks, you've got a toxic gas leak on your hands. You should pack some extra repair spray just in case.
We're gonna be fine.
VOD is invaluable for the development of new technologies. And those same technologies might be of benefit to you someday.
Order assigned.
Oh, that's the name of a company. Oh, okay. That takes care of leaves.
You're a lifesaver, Sam.
But so, like, what if you're just sick? And you gotta get your sickness approved? I mean, like, I guess. Yeah, like, y'all can try to haul me in there if I'm rocking a 102. You sure can try. That's crazy. May those Gorons burn in fire. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Pelibot. Yeah, I'm right there with you, dog. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I got sick for like 3 or 4 days pretty early on when I didn't even have like I had maybe 8 hours of like a emergency time off or whatever. That's crazy to think that they could just fire me. I mean, yeah, whatever. Like, I guess you can. Good. It's how you lose good employees, but I guess you can, dog. I don't know. I guess. Pelibot's a devil? Is that what they said about Luigi? Dog, I don't think they're calling Luigi the devil. I think they're calling him a saint. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong places. A guy like me. Guys, I'm so happy that Northern Lion is back, though. Not that I don't have years of VODs to, like, work my way through if I wanted to. But I'm just happy to have him back.
Safe travels.
I like up-to-date content. It's relevant. And I'm already a few days behind, which is fine. I like having a backlog for the days that he's not streaming. I need a backlog. I didn't pick up whatever. No, I didn't. That's fine. I don't care. I'm gonna turn this in. We can teleport around to get the rest of this done. We're so close. We're actually getting pretty close. Once I have these guys all unlocked, and I have now most of them unlocked, there's one more down in this section of the map that's gonna be maybe a little bit of a pain, especially until I get my zipline up. This guy's also not on the network. Oh, I'm sorry, we are missing a road still. We're missing one more road piece. That's the last one. Actually, the last one. Once I get that set up, I get my zip lines. It should be smooth sailing, and we can go and 5-star the last few people. I want to see what this gets me. This was like a not story mission, but this is like a special mission.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Keeping ID. Decontaminating suit. Safe travel clear. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges.
Oh, we just unlocked the Chiral Bridge. Okay. Didn't realize I didn't have that. There might still be a couple missions that we have to do to get everything. I don't know.
Good work. New order available. Please access delivery terminal.
I gotta get rid of some of this, though. My truck, I do not need. Speed skeleton level 2. I don't need that anymore. I don't need repair sprays, level 1. That stuff. Okay, get rid of all that. I don't care. I don't care. 1984.
Thank you for your contribution. Your work is greatly appreciated.
All right. It looks like the guys are ready. Shoot, I'm sorry. We didn't finish the video. And there's still like 7 minutes left. We can save it. But if not, it's any Austin Resident Evil 4 unemployment rate video. You can probably find it just from that query. The Spiritualist, a Legion of Sams. The Collector. We used to have things called letters. The Wandering MC. My all-American cosplay convention dreams coming true. Okay. We're so close. I say that every time, but every time we get just a little bit closer. We really are getting a little bit closer. We only have, I don't know, 4 or 5 more stars. 5 stars to get. We're getting there. All right, I'm gonna... Ooh. Excuse me. I'm gonna roll out here. Let's see what we got going on. I actually don't really know who all is. No Kraken, no Eric's. Actually, yeah, not too much going on that I watch regularly. I don't know. Germa was live earlier doing the water park simulator game. You can check that. You watch the VOD for that. That was fun. Okay. That's all I have. Thank you guys for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your night. And I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.